What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Grand Moff Tarkin from the Black Series Archive Wave, and I got this figure at Ollie's for a price point of $9.99. And today we're going to look into the accessories this figure comes with, accuracy to the character, overall packaging, and as well as articulation that this figure has. And towards the end of the video, we're going to go ahead and do a quick rating of what I think this figure rates in all those categories. So let's go ahead and look at the packaging real quick. You guys can see that it is an archive wave figure. You guys can see the accessories a little bit more visible. So on the front, it's a clear packaging, really not too bad. And here on the back, it does have a brief description of the 2018 version of this figure when it had the old school Black Series box. Let's go ahead and open Grand Moff Tarkin so you guys have a closer look at the figure. So here we have a quick tray shot of Tarkin. Let's go ahead and take him out. So looking at this figure really isn't bad in my opinion. The detail as far as the way that outfit, the officer outfit looks pretty good. The boots has this nice semi-gloss finish, while the rest of the outfit is pretty matte. Overall, when it comes to the design and the accuracy of this figure, just by looking at it, it looks pretty well accurate to Tarkin. And then in that head sculpt, honestly, I think in this figure, the head sculpt is the best thing. It does seem like it has some flaws, but that head sculpt really does give it a nice presence. But this figure isn't really something that you're going to be posing a lot. So I might be somewhat generous when it comes to the articulation of this figure. So let's go ahead and look at the articulation. This figure sadly has single jointed elbows. It does have double jointed knees, which is really good. And it is pinned, as you guys can see. Now the big pro of the elbows, and when it comes to usually single jointed elbows, that they are pinless. As you can see that it is pinless right here, which isn't too bad. Now I do feel like they could do that here on the knees, but they didn't. But I can't complain. And when it comes to the ankles do move forward and back. So let's go ahead and do the ab crunch test. You guys are gonna go ahead and put the arm over his head, which it does do fairly decent, kind of hard. When it comes to ab crunch, he has basically no ab crunch, which is a killer for this figure, but it is something that you're not going to be posing a lot, and this figure is a little stiff. Let's go ahead and look at the head sculpt. As I told you earlier, this head sculpt is actually really good. You guys can see how the light creates like a shadow on his eyes, which makes him a little bit more menacing. He does go down and does go up somewhat, not really. You guys could hear the little crack. And when it goes left and right, does it really decently. Now this figure is actually really cool in my opinion. I cannot wait to add this next to Darth Vader or Sidious. You know, overall it's really not too bad. And let's go see if it does turn. So it does slightly turn, which is pretty good. And let's see if it has any thigh swivel. It does not. And when it goes to how high his leg can go, is really that is as high as the leg can go, which I guess it isn't bad. I mean, this is not a figure you're going to be posing around all that much anyways, but the details here on his rank and the colors is pretty good. Obviously, he's not going to have any wear and tear. The hair is nice and gray. I'm really liking this figure just because the way it looks. But when it comes to articulation, it's not that great, but also you got to consider this is not a figure that you'd be articulating all that much. Now, he does come with one accessory, and he does have this droid right here, which I'm not sure if this is a probe or medical droid, but it is the ones that you guys see in the movie throughout. I think they show this in Empire Strikes Back, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But these little pieces that it has on the actual droid, they're really not movable. They're pretty stiff, which does suck. It would be nice if you could move them around, but you know, I guess they don't want it breaking, but I mean, it could still break just like this. But the color for this thing is really nice, really well detailed, and has a great, decent amount of paint application on there. And on the bottom, it is on kind of like on a ball joint, so it does move around pretty freely. And I'm sure you could take it off, but I'm not going to because I don't want to break it. But it's still not a bad thing. Even it has paint here at the bottom. So this is a decent accessory, not really an accessory to the figure specifically, but you could use this for other figures as well. So when it comes to the articulation of Grand Moff Tarkin, I'm gonna give it like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely worth giving it a 5 or a 6. The only reason why I'm giving it a 7 is because it's not a figure that needs to be posable, but it having double jointed knees is a plus. The single jointed elbows is pinless, which is good. and no app crunch, which sucks. But just for what the type of figure, if this was a clone, easy 3, 4 out of 10. But it being just an officer or a Grand Moff Tarkin, I'll still give it a 7. And when it comes to accuracy of what the character looked like in the Clone Wars and in the movie, I think this is a decent 8.5 out of 10. That head sculpt, when you look at it, if you're a Star Wars fan, you already know who this is. I mean, come on. When it comes to the accessories, I'll definitely just give this a 5 out of 10. Even though this droid is pretty dope, I mean, I'm not going to give it a higher rating just because it's cool. 5 out of 10 is not a bad deal in my opinion. And when it comes to the overall figure of everything this figure comes with, as far as just the overall package, I'd definitely give this figure as an overall a 7 out of 10. And I still think is a must pick up if you can get it at a price point of $9.99 that I got at Ollie's. And if you guys like this figure, comment down below, what do you like about this figure? And I'll see you guys in the next video.